Hello, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of eleva-Shaun. It's your girl, Shaun, here. This video is actually going to be about my VSG journey, the process, the procedure. I'm going to go through like the different diets that I had to actually go on for my prereqs for the VSG surgery. And again, if you all don't know what VSG is, it's the vertical sleeve surgery. It's a bariatric surgery, weight loss surgery, basically, that I actually had in 2020, September of 2020. So again, I'm going to go through the process, the procedures, everything I had to experience.
Then dip me underway. You can fill my mind for flow. Hold me till I scream for every and wash me over until my will runs dry. Send all your sins all over me, baby.
It's my journey that I'm going to speak on, just from what I experienced and what I went through, and possibly something to help you if you are considering any type of bariatric surgeries. I think for sure I do know there is 3 of them out there. The VSG, which is vertical sleeve gastromic. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Vertical sleeve. I'm going to leave it at that. Vertical sleeve. There's the lap band, which was kind of like one of the first weight loss surgeries. And there is the gastric bypass as well. I did have VSG surgery, and that's known as the banana stomach surgery. And that's because what they do is they go inside of you and they cut off 80% of your stomach. So you're left with a banana shape stomach, which is just 20%, so that you can limit your food intake, basically. I started this journey with weight loss surgery probably a year before I actually had the surgery. I was considering it. I went to my primary care doctor, and she was telling me, she was helping me. I actually went to a dietitian prior to this surgery, and I was on diets. I was eating, certain things that I had to eat, just to maintain, or just not really maintain, lose weight in my sense. Some people go to dietitians to maintain, but I definitely had to lose weight because I was borderline of a lot of health issues. Granted, I was tested for them, and thank God I did not have any of the diseases or the sicknesses that I was tested for. But I was considered borderline, so that was something I had to consider with losing weight. And per my doctor, who actually told me that it was a great idea to go through with this, I brought this to her. But prior to bringing it to her, she was telling me that the only reason I would lose weight and the amount of weight that I needed to is if I was on a supplement diet for the rest of my life. Granted, we do take multivitamins. We're supposed to take vitamins every day. A supplement diet is basically dietary powders or pills that I would have to take on a regular just to lose weight, or either get to a significant amount of weight and try to maintain that weight. So I would definitely I would have to do that for the rest of my life. I didn't like it at first because, well, I still don't to this day, because I'm not good at swallowing pills. I'm just not good at swallowing pills. I've always suffered with that. Even when I was younger, my mom used to actually whoop me. Yes, she used to whoop me. Yeah, I didn't want that in a sense of being in control of my life, like taking pills just to actually lose weight, a significant amount of weight, and maintain that weight once I did lose it. So that was something that I had to consider as well. So after my primary care doctor told me that, basically I was going to have to be on that diet, that supplemental diet, for the rest of my life, I wasn't okay with it at all. I was not okay with it. So I started researching stuff on my own about weight loss surgery. First, it was me researching for cosmetic surgery. And I'm just like, okay, that's not what I'm looking for right now. I really need, my health is what's important to me right now. So let me look at something that's going to be beneficial to my health right now. So I started researching weight loss surgery, bariatric surgery. and I came across a program that was offered in the city that I was in. Like a room set up for like conferences where they would have those classes set basically, and you would just go there just to get information about, you know, bariatric surgery in general and the information you needed for learning bariatric and knowing what's required and everything. Brought you in, they gave you a pamphlet as well as a folder, a bag, and then they gave you information, or they presented information to you about the different types of bariatric surgery, what most of the patients, what category the most of the patients fall into. And they actually said, you know, if you were this weight, or if you're suffering from this type of disease or sickness, you would be better in doing this surgery. They were just giving you different types of surgery and why, or where most patients that have that surgery fall into. Very little of the vertical sleeve surgery. I knew not enough, you know, about that, but I was well aware of the gastric bypass surgery. I was very aware of that because I'd known people personally who's actually had that surgery. But VSG, I didn't hear at the time that I was having. I didn't know of anyone that actually had the surgery. So when I went there, they presented all the information to me, and then they gave me a checklist. There, they actually knew like the insurance companies that was in the area that they accepted within the hospital that I attended, or the hospital that I went to for surgery. They knew of the insurance, and they had a page full of what the insurance would pay for and the qualifications or the prereqs for getting accepted as a patient or bariatric patient based on your insurance company. That was something good because I don't know if a lot of doctors or, you know, hospitals who actually do bariatric surgery does that for their patients. But that was something that was, my insurance company was on there, and all I had to do was go through, I think it was 6 months worth of different doctor visits that I had to go to be approved for the surgery. So throughout that session, they actually had the surgeon there. So the surgeon came in and he, you know, spoke to us about the different things that he would do and the requirements, why they require you to go through, you know, the different things just to have the surgery. And he opened it up for questions. Now, this was something interesting to me because many of the questions that were actually being asked during that time was for people who wanted to have the surgery, but a lot of them were having like fertility issues. And I was tested for PCOS, and that's polycystic ovary syndrome. And if you're not aware of that, you can Google it, but it's kind of like you have hormonal issues. And different hormonal issues can actually hinder you from having kids. I was tested for that, but it came back that I didn't have it. So I was aware of the things that the people were asking, only because, you know, my doctor tested me for that. So I kind of did my own research on that. But when they brought that up there, they were just saying, you know, it was a lot of them that was actually doing it for purposes of they actually wanted to have a child. So I was like, oh, and then it does make sense because my doctor used to say that being overweight could hinder or it could affect, you know, fertility. So I was like, oh, that makes sense, you know, why they're asking these questions. But that was like one of the biggest things that these people were coming in saying that they were having a surgery for. Everybody had their own specific reason, but, you know, majority of them were saying, you know, they wanted to have a child. What's the success rate for patients actually having the surgery and coming out of the surgery and having a child? And he was like, you know, that's very, very likely. That majority of his patients have actually gone through that. But what they do advise you is to, you know, try to hold off like at least 6 months after the surgery, because 6 months is like the mark they would tell you that you're healed, or your wounds, you know, and your body is functioning okay, because you have to remember 80% of your stomach is gone, so you're only functioning with 20%. So when they go in and they cut out your stomach, it staples that, being into your stomach. So they want to make sure the staples are there and secured, and they're not coming loose, or they're not, coming out of any sort. So they will tell you, just not to have anything to affect that. That was one of the reasons. Of course, I did tell you all that my reason was I was borderline for health issues. Thank God I wasn't tested positive for those issues or those diseases. But yeah, that was the reason I considered the surgery. I had a visit with the doctor, a consultation with the surgeon himself. So after scheduling that consultation, I spoke with the surgeon and his office manager, to be exact. And it was another lady. I don't know her position. I think she's I'm not sure what her position was, but she's over like protocol for having weight loss or bariatric surgery. They gave me a list of doctors. You have to attend sessions with a psychiatrist. They have a dietary nutritionist who's with them, and you do have to visit them within those time frames that you're going through the 6-month period of prereqs. You do have to attend or see your nutritionist. Probably, I think at first it's once a month, and then the closer you get, it's twice a month or once a week, the closer you get to your surgery. And when they gave me that list of the different psychiatrists, I was going through the list, and most of them were booked. And I'm just like, okay, step 1, probably gonna be a failure. Okay, y'all, so I'm sure y'all probably can tell I'm not a multitasker, so I had to go ahead and outline my eyebrows off camera. But as I was stating, the psychiatrist visits were something that, I was kind of like questioning, why do I need to go see a psychiatrist, just to have bariatric surgery? Wait, what? I'm confused at that. But after the surgery, I started to understand why it's important for you to go and have those sessions with the psychiatrist. For one, they want to make sure that you're doing it for the right reason. They don't, and this is for insurance companies. This is for if you're going through and your insurance companies are actually paying for it. Now, self-pay, you don't have to go through all this. You just pay the money and they schedule you for the surgery. There are some qualifications or prereqs that you have to go through for self-pay, but of course, what I'm speaking on is because I went through and my insurance paid for it. So the information I'm giving is because of the insurance qualifications. So I didn't agree with it at first, but I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to go through it because I want to have this surgery and I definitely need it. I was just like, okay, well, let me go through this. And of course, it wasn't free, but I didn't have to pay, as much as most people had to pay. I was blessed because all I had to pay for this whole process was my co-fees to see the, the doctors or the specialists. But when it came to the surgery, the only thing I had to pay was just $250, which was like the overnight stay amount that I had to pay, up front. So $250. If you Google this surgery, you will see this surgery ranges from like $9,000 and up. Yeah, I don't know where I got that amount from. My total was like between 60 and 70,000. Expensive. It is expensive. I am going to tell you that. But I feel like it was worth it. For honest, it was actually pleasing. And I really understand why I had to go through that. And that was because this process of VSG is more mental than physical. And I didn't know that at first. I did not know that it was more so of a mental battle. I thought it was just, okay, I got food in my hand. I need to let it go. If I'm too full, just stop eating. But that's not what it is. This process after having the surgery is very, very mental. And it's to the point where it can affect your mental, where you can actually go insane. I'm just going to be honest. It definitely can. Where I had finished all my qualifications. Of course, it was 2020 and COVID was hitting hard. It was COVID and everything was just going crazy at that moment, especially with hospitals. So I think I finished my qualifications, and April of 2020. It was after my birthday. So April of 2020 is when I finished my qualifications. And I was actually scheduled to have my surgery in June or July the first time. I think it was June. And then the closer we got to June, they was telling me, okay, well, we're going to give you a call and you'll have to come into the nutritionist for the last time. And that's probably going to be like the week before surgery. Or it could be 2 weeks before surgery, because it's just basically the nutritionist checking up on you to make sure, for one, that either you started your liver diet or you're going to begin your liver diet as soon as you leave him with that last visit.
Where'd you go? Oh, you know how I've been living without you. Daydreaming on a cloud with you like horizon. With you tonight is on an island. Yeah. It's about time we're making up. The times you wasn't with me waking up. Now you feel seductive, miss your touch. I needed to distance myself from you. Oh, just to know you want you. So come close, I want you. Can I tell you something for what it's worth? With you having it place on nothing. I'll take you there, I'll take you. Show you something, give you more than words. With you having it place on nothing.
With that last visit, I did have a guy. So, they scheduled me for my last visit with my nutritionist. I was so excited. And then when they scheduled me, I actually received a call from the hospital, and they were telling me at the moment they weren't taking patients or surgery, non-emergency surgeries is what they were saying. So they weren't actually accepting non-emergency surgeries at the time, and that's because of COVID, being in the peak of COVID. They needed the beds and everything that was going on there. So come June, I've done all of my prereqs. I've done everything. And then with some insurance companies, you have to do it in a certain amount of time. And if you do it and your surgery is scheduled and canceled, the insurance company will actually tell you, if it's at a certain amount of time afterwards, they will tell you have to go through the process again. So I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I've gone through this process. My doctors has responded back to the surgeon, let them know I'm okay to have the surgery. They would think of me as a good candidate for the surgery. And then now I'm at a stall because the hospitals are not accepting non-emergency surgeries. So they rescheduled my surgery. And they rescheduled it to July. Yep. They rescheduled it to July. And then when they rescheduled it to July, they called me back closer to July, where I needed to come in and meet with my nutritionist. Called in, and then they was like, okay, we're going to have to push your surgery back again. So at this point, I'm just nerve-wracking. For one, I am still working at the time. So, and with the surgery, they tell you to take off a significant amount of time. I've never had surgery. This is my first time having surgery. So I made sure that I wanted to take off a month, total 4 weeks, just so I can be ready and make sure, I'm not doing too much to go back to work. I don't want to, have this surgery and go back and mess anything up afterwards. So with me being gone a significant amount of time, I had to clear up my work so that it wouldn't fall on my other coworkers. So with me having to reschedule, I did let my supervisor know ahead of time that I was taking off a month, and because of why. So she definitely approved for it. I did have to do FMLA. But it was just to the point where I kept getting canceled. My surgery kept getting canceled. So again, they pushed me back to August. August comes, and they're calling me and telling me, okay, we're going to have to push you back because we had surgeries prior to you. So this was in August is what they told me. We had surgeries scheduled prior to you that we had to push back because of COVID. So we're trying to get those patients, which I understood. There is a line. Wait your turn, sis. Wait your turn. So I understood, and I was like, okay, this is fine. Let me just, go ahead. at least they know that my qualifications are done. They're trying to work with me, and they were talking to my insurance company as well, just to let them know, it wasn't me that was doing the lacking. It was because of restrictions within the hospital themselves. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, y'all. So I got there to the point where they did schedule me for my surgery September. So we made it there, and the 2 weeks before, I went to my nutritionist, and he told me, I needed to start what we call the liver liquid diet. So the reason for this diet is to make sure that your stomach has not consumed anything in it that would make it swell, or it takes a while for something to digest. So the liquid diet is to actually clear out your stomach, so that anything surrounding your stomach won't be affected when they go through and take out that portion of your stomach for the gastric sleeve requirement. So again, it's just to make sure that your liver is clear from being cut or snipped or anything of that sort. So they want you to actually get everything out of your system, digesting all of the food that's been in there prior to the 2 week requirement. Came the week before to actually pay the amount for my overnight stay. I did stay. I went in on a Thursday. I stayed early Thursday morning. I stayed Friday, and I left. I stayed Thursday night and Friday night, and I left Saturday around noon, 1-ish, something like that. My parents came and picked me up. So yeah, the experience, I would say I've heard people having a traumatic experience, but my experience was great. My doctor, Dr. Anthony Wright, he was amazing. Prior to going back to surgery, my mom was in there, and my mom is very religious. I'm gonna just say that she's a prayer warrior. She's definitely that. So she is a woman of God. So she was talking to him and, just saying things to him about, just trying to just get to him to make sure his mind was clear. And, she wanted to say a prayer with him, and he offered to actually pray before we went back. So he opened up for a prayer, and we said a prayer. By that time, y'all, I was on my medicine. They had my IVs running, but I was woke enough where I heard him actually pray, during that, and then they rolled me on back. And
then dip me underway. You can fill my mind for flow. Hold me till I scream for air to breathe, and wash me over until my well runs dry. Send all your sins all over me, baby, baby. Right up to the